Hi, welcome to If I Did It, a show where we analyze and solve the PR kerfuffles from the MMA world and beyond. I'm your host, Alexi Auld, and joining us as always is Kid Native Bloody Elbow and Eugene S. Robinson from Aussie.com and author of Fight Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Ass Kicking, but we're afraid you'd get your ass kicked for asking.
You did that like remedial student style. Everything what you want, not about ass kicking.
Scale it back. It's my Marion Barry impression. You know,
stutter and mutter and prick you? Okay.
So we're going to change up things this week and start with the curveball.
Bing!
Eugene.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
You're a Ken
And
doll.
those complainers, you should note that we're bypassing our intro.
Yeah, we'll be back to it.
Okay.
Yes. You're a Ken doll. MSNBC's Melissa Harris Perry said you were so whack. She used to hook up her black Barbies with Chewbacca because he was, quote, tall, hairy, and in control of the situation, end quote. In other words, she preferred interspecies dating, since Chewie is a Wookiee, to interracial dating. How do you respond? Do you chillax in your Malibu playset? Enter the fray and risk becoming a politicized plaything of a special interest group? Or do you hook up with one of those freaks from Monster High?
Okay, hold on. I've been reading the news. I've been reading about the Paris Climate Summit. I've been reading about things of great political import, political situation in Poland, the riots. You know, you're saying that a TV talking head said she would rather have sex with a fictional character from a 1977 movie.
No, she would hook up her plastic dolls.
Than a white plastic doll?
She would hook up her Barbie, so her matchmaker, if she was like celebrity or matchmaking with Barbies when she was a kid, she would have her African-American Barbies hook up with Chewbacca instead of hooking up with Ken. It was this huge issue.
So now are people upset about this?
Yeah, some people are upset more over the fact that she said that Star Wars is racist because Darth Vader was black and was bad, and then when he took his mask off and was good, he was white. And some people said, no, he might have just been light-skinned or ashy. You know, so
oh my God.
Anyway,
I'm
just asking you if you were a Ken doll.
Yeah.
And someone that's Coates said that she's the public intellectual now, right? Not him. So she's saying that when she was a kid, she'd rather hook up her black Barbies with Chewbacca instead of hooking them up with Ken. So you're Ken.
So white dudes are kind of upset that a black woman would rather have sex with a fictional, hairy, ape-like man than to have sex with them.
And you are one of those white plastic dolls, so you must defend.
You know, if I'm one of those white plastic dolls, I'm going back to the playhouse. I'm counting my billions. I'm looking at 200 years of global domination and drying my tears with $100 bills and not really worried about what a Wookiee does. You know, I mean, percentage-wise of body size, male humans have some of the largest penises in the mammalian kingdom. You know this, right?
Gorillas are tiny.
Yeah, exactly. So gorilla is 10 times stronger than the average man, but he's not packing a lot of heat. Even the average white guy, and I'm sure Nate could attest to it. Sorry, I called you Kate. Nate.
He's emasculating you.
I just had a reader write in and complain about how racist you are, Eugene, and there it goes again. I
don't have any patience for racism. You know where I spend a lot of time? I spend a lot of time at stormfront.org. You know why? Because I think it's funny. I think Nazi jokes are funny. I think Tom Metzger's cartoons are hilarious. You know, I mean, he's got the whole white man rise up series where like black guys have got like white women thrown over their shoulders and they're walking down the street. I love that one.
It's like Birth of a Nation. So
if I'm Ken, like I said, I'm not overly worried about this. Okay. If I'm Ken. What
about you, Nate?
If I was Ken, I'd be lobbying for an anatomically correct Ken that would fix these problems. I mean, everybody knew Ken wasn't packing. That's the first thing every little girl did is deep pants Ken and see there's no mystery there. There's nothing. What you see.
And he spends a lot of time hanging around with G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. So what's that about?
Exactly. So, yeah, I don't think Ken cares. I think Ken's a moral monster. I think he might be on the Bill Cosby legal team. I don't know. I don't think.
Oh!
I don't think. I don't
In
think.
literary terms, we call that foreshadowing.
I don't even know we're going to talk about Bill Cosby and his legal team today, but
We
anyway.
can't not.
So since we are talking, Eugene, let
Yes.
everybody know why they should listen to the words coming out of your mouth with regard to PR kerfuffles and handling these kinds of issues.
And PR means
Because I'm a
public
media
relations.
professional.
You don't know.
PR means public relations. I have been since 1977. Been getting paid as a journalist. Have worked at Intel, Apple, Adobe, Nikon. I've run a record label. I've written books for HarperCollins. I'm an award-winning journalist, and I've helped everybody I know get out of the kind of. Eugene, I was with you last night, right? Yes, PR genius.
Nate, how can you?
15 years of corporate consulting, crisis communications, political campaign experience, including John Kerry, Mark Warner, took down Tom DeLay. I don't know. I can't think of any corporate clients off AT&T back when they were Southwestern Bell,
Was it a double
Southwest
leg?
Airlines.
Was it a double leg you took him down with, or what did you think? Was it?
It was an indictment. I wasn't involved directly with the indictment, but I helped create the environment, and it was a competitive congressional race, actually, where we had an underfunded, no-shot challenger that held him to a very tight margin, and everybody suddenly said, hey, Tom DeLay's not so popular in his own district. And when you're unliked and weak, people turn on you. Just ask Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
Which might be coming up later. So my name is Alexi Old. I'm an attorney, consultant, handling crises, business, legal, personal, and instead of being a public intellectual, a private intellectual. So if you need assistance, we are all here to help you. And speaking of which,
What the hell does that mean? A private intellectual?
He keeps his deep thoughts to himself.
Yeah, that means he's chasing his wife around the kitchen, going using philosophical justifications for why he's not washing dishes.
you apparently have not been in my house because I am a dishwasher extraordinaire. Okay, now back in the day before it was something horrible to say about being referred to as Cosby, we were in Brooklyn as like the Cosbys because my wife's a doctor and I'm a lawyer, so we're like kind of the Cosby kind of situation. So anyway, we can't say that nowadays because of the kerfuffles that he has put himself in. But what we can talk about, Eugene, you're the UFC.
Yeah.
What are your PR options if the Notorious One's 13-second knockout over Jose Aldo creates mo money, mo problems for your business model?
Man, I'm so happy about that. Some guy was like confused. He's like, man, I thought you were on the side of the boot, and then you were on the sidelines, and now you're riding the timbrel right up to the guillotine, cheering on the revolution. What side are you on, Jack? And I was like, exactly. I'm on the side of whoever's winning. You want to find me? You'll find me on the winning side. I'm a nut jumper par excellence. You know what, man? This is now the time to be jumping on the car, screaming, Norma Ray, Attica. I mean, there's a reason Dana didn't show up to the press conference. There's a reason Fertitta is smashing the belt down on the desk, after the 13-second. There's a reason all that stuff happened. And it's like perception is reality. Like I said on Knuckle Up, Kogan, now a Bellator executive, poo-pooed the $100 million. He said, "Oh, you're crazy. If you think he's getting 100, where is the UFC going to get that money from? That money doesn't exist to be had. It doesn't matter. Perception is reality. If he gets half of that, that's suddenly now emboldened any young Turk who's got a gifted gab and maybe a little upward rise. Said, hey, you know what? It doesn't really make sense. It strengthens Bellator's hand. It's made the business environment difficult."
Well, one thing
difficult to say the least. I got guys here, also known as lunatics, who are saying things like, "Oh, the UFC doesn't need Conor McGregor. They should give him his walking papers." Yeah, really? Because Dustin Poirier is going to carry the franchise, right?
Don't sleep on the Lazon.
Do not. We're going to ride that Joe Lazon rocket right to the top. Come on.
But here's one thing before going to Nate is when you talk about $100 million, if you look at NBA contracts and other leagues that actually have these kinds of deals, it's not like, oh, here's your $100 million up front. There's certain things you have to do, which I think is, Kogan probably wasn't taken into consideration. So Nate, what do you think about this dynamic?
Well, I mean, I'm hearing something like he's looking for 20 20 to $25 million per fight for 4 or 5 fights. That's $100 million. And that's not that unreasonable a slice of the revenue if you think he's bringing half the fans that are watching, because they're making buku bank off a million selling pay-per-view. I mean, they are making a ton of money. Even after half of it goes to the cable company, the best analysis and speculation say they're giving 10 to 15% of the money to the fighters, which is way out of whack for anything in the sports. Anything in entertainment, the model is 50% of revenue going to the talent, because that's what people are paying to see. People go to see Jay-Z and Beyonce, they're going to see Jay-Z, not Ticketmaster. If you go see the UFC, you're seeing Conor McGregor. That's what you're paying for. You're not paying to see Dana White and Frank Fertitta and Lorenzo Fertitta sitting by the cage. We've tried that. And they do not. There was once upon a time when they had built their brand up to such value that they could sell 500,000 pay-per-view buys with Rich Franklin versus Wanderlei Silva. Maybe that did 300,000. Nevertheless, that was a bunk card, and it sold hundreds of thousands, but they kept putting out so many bunk cards that people won't do that anymore. So now they're in this position. They made this monster. They're the one that's put millions of dollars promoting Conor McGregor last year, and here he is. He performed better than my expectations. I mean, I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was 13 seconds blanking Jose Aldo good. And part of that was Aldo made some mistakes. He fought sloppy. He jumped in with his face right into a left, you know, and he had been getting away from that. He'd been fighting more disciplined fights ever since the Mark Hominick fight. But he was clearly panicked and made a huge mistake against.
I don't say panicked. I say emotional.
Emotional. He wasn't thinking, because he's fought smarter than that. I mean, that's his tendency has been to lunge in. Jack Slack and Conor Rubish and other guys have talked about his bad habit of leaning in over punches and lunging in with his face, with his chin up. And he had gotten away from that. He had gotten into fighting more disciplined fights, and he screwed up. And here they are. The UFC now has Conor McGregor to deal with, and I think they pay the man. It's like when Danny Bonaducci got caught with the transvestite.
Right.
Pay the man, Danny. Pay the man.
But here's the thing. Isn't there also, when you have these issues of fighter pay and sponsorship, for somebody like a Conor McGregor who knows how to play the game, who actually created the feud between TJ, not created, but, you know, in terms of planting the seeds of a big pay-per-view payday or some kind of attention for a fight that he's not even involved with, if you reward Conor McGregor, does that not circumvent the whole issue of fighter pay by saying, hey, look, if you can play the game, if you can bring these numbers in, you will be rewarded, as opposed to like, nope, no matter what you do, you're not going to get paid shit.
Well, they've been rewarding people. Like Ronda Rousey thinks she's being rewarded, but she isn't really doing the math on how much money she could be making. Also, she might want to look at the relationships between her management company and the UFC. There's rumors they make more money cutting deals for the UFC with Fox than they do negotiating on behalf of their fighters with the UFC. So, you know, it's dark, deep, shark-infested waters, kids, and you gotta have your floaties on and some flashlights and see what's going on beneath you. And I think,
like I said on Knuckle Up, I mean, the big panic filling my rearview mirror right now is, you know, man, I'm hoping. I'll tell you, one time a friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine, I'm not gonna out him here, wanted to take some LSD with me, and I said, you know what, nah. I've been the trips doctor for many a person, you know, but I'm not gonna be your first trip. He goes, why not? Why not? I go, because your soul is dirty. He goes, what do you mean? Now we're getting religious. I go, that's not religion, man. You got stuff lurking around in your head that's gonna come flooding out, and I don't want to be the one to have a front row seat on helping you deal with shit that happened to your mother when you were 10. Don't want to do it, you know. So I mean, this is I am filled with the same sort of unease and panic. I'm hoping that there's not a lot of stuff coming flooding out of the McGregor camp. I hope he's choir boy clean, because I guarantee you, I get any single stumble, the bald one will be there to offer a helping hand. Yeah.
Do you think he should move to? Should he leave Las Vegas then? Do you think that there's danger in the sense that if he stays within the media bubble,
with a horse head in his bed? Is that what you're going?
No, I mean not extreme, but if you have if he goes back to Ireland or goes abroad and he's not surrounded by the same kind of intense media bubble, revelations of weirdness aren't as likely to happen.
The media bubble, as long as everybody's watching him, He's okay. He's got his family there. He's got his longtime girlfriend there. You know, as long as the flashlights are on him, he's not going to stumble too badly. But, you know, I think going back to Dublin, you know, outside of a few street scuffles, I think he's well loved. I think that would be a safe place to be for a bit of time. Straight blast gym. Why not? The guy's a national hero now. I think caution would be advised. If you think the game ended when they raised your hand, and, you know, Bruce Buffer finishes with you, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's like Nick Diaz understands. As soon as I sign that contract, the fight has begun. And at this point, he is fighting like Hitler. He is fighting 360-degree war. And you got to understand, your friends are not your friends.
All right. Well, speaking about wars and friends and decisions, Nate, you're Herb Dean.
Oh!
After an allegedly premature fight stoppage during Conor McGregor's coronation against Chad Mendes, you allowed Chris Weidman to receive an unseemly amount of punishment last Saturday in his losing effort against Luke Rockhold. How do you respond to criticism of your uneven and apparently unequal fight stoppages?
You don't. Herb Dean's got to keep his head down and his mouth shut. That's the painful part about being a referee. He's in one of these positions where it's like working retail. You just take incoming fire and smile and eat more shit. There's not a lot he can do except do a good job on his next fight. Herb Dean has a long and storied reputation for a good reason, because he's got a long history of making good calls, saving people when they're in trouble, letting people recover when he thinks they've got a chance. And I think with Chris Weidman, here's a sitting champion who's got a track record of winning. And we've never really seen him on the bottom before. We don't know how much punishment he can take. And I think Dean erred, and I do think Dean erred, but I think he erred on the side of giving the fighter a chance. And it's not like Weidman was taking hellacious damage. He was getting...
Oh, really? What happened to his face? What happened?
Well, he was getting fucked up, but it wasn't like he was getting massive head trauma with those. I mean, those weren't huge, earth-shattering...
And he was intelligently defending doing like this.
Absolutely. I'll be back with all my friends. How'd that happen?
If you look closely, he's moving his jaw, too, out the way. It's a very intelligent defense.
It's a different situation when you're in ground and pound and there's only so much torque you can put in your punches between where Mendes and McGregor was, where Mendes is up against the cage and McGregor is completely free to put as much torque and power into his punches as he could.
You know, why? It's like I feel like an elementary school teacher now. Why are you encouraging them, Nate? Why? Why are you encouraging them? You know, they're gonna comment. There's gonna be, see, Nate said, see. I mean, we know that was rotten Denmark action, Danish action, straight up. You know, but look, I think maybe I love Herb Dean. He's a known associate. I would say, you know, they're working the guy like a mule. Give him a break. He's got the high John the Conqueror thing. He's got a storied record of good decisions. I got it. So every now and then, maybe he makes a bad one. But somebody said, I think sagely, you ever notice how his bad decisions always align themselves with House? You know, I mean, we know if it had been reversed, you know, that Luke Rockhold would be in San Jose right now crying. You know,
that's quite likely possible, but there's no way to know that. There's no way to know that.
But one thing we do know is that Herb Dean is sexy and sophisticated. And as a sexy and sophisticated man, he needs to be able to enjoy. He needs probably to take a break and, you know, enjoy the lifestyle of a sexy and sophisticated gentleman.
I've never seen him in a sport coat like this. Look at this. This is sexy and sophisticated. What are you talking about, Dean? With
Norway doesn't say that. The female Norwegian contingent is not finding you sexy or sophisticated, but there's still time.
You know, my wife's happy. That's all I can say.
But here's the thing. Maybe Herb Dean, this is a career path for him. I can teach you to be sexy and sophisticated.
I don't. You know, there's a guy who I know, and he always has like nice clothes and nice shit. I was like, hey, how is Dave making this money? He goes, he's embarrassed. Like, what are you embarrassed? What could you? He goes, I'm a pickup counselor. I go, what? This is like the guy I've never known him to be more than with one woman in the last 10 years. He's like, yeah, but people look at me and they figure I'm giving good advice. I think, you know, that's pretty good. I don't know if I could teach a pickup class. People look at me and figure my advice is no good. Look at him, you know.
Oh, that pickup counselor. Damn, that is some low garbage right there, I got to say.
Yeah, you know, I think that would be the worst thing, having to deal with, you know, guys. I mean, you know, I know as a sex columnist, if I get another letter from a guy wanting to know how to make his penis longer, or how to last
That's because you've already
longer in
answered that
bed.
question so many times.
So easily, once a week. It's like, you gotta be kidding. Why don't you just read last week, man? You're really testing my patience with this.
Maybe you should have a
thing.
link at the start of the article for those of you who are interested in questions about
Penis enlargement.
Yeah.
It could be a
Sneak a little,
I told one guy, he was like, do these penis enlargers really work? I go, yeah, it's a deal with the devil, because they do work, but only while you have them on.
talking about the suction things. That is some grisly, gnarly stuff.
Yeah, so you have to like jump out in the bedroom with this big plastic thing on your dong, go, look, babe, it's bigger. And then you pull it off and it goes back to normal size.
One of my best friends squandered her inheritance on a coke binge with a dude who was hooked on using one of those. She said it was disgusting. So that's my experience with that.
Well, speaking of experiences.
I have an ex who was dating this older guy who was a doctor, and he would take a break before they got to sex to inject his penis with sildenafil, which is a functioning element in Viagra. But apparently, if you inject it into your penis with a hypodermic syringe, it works faster and better. I go, how sexy was that? She goes, actually not very sexy at all.
Yeah, I would think not. The former DA in my home county was busted for injecting himself with a homemade mix of meth and the Viagra ingredient.
Oh,
was he having sex with? Who was he having sex with?
I don't know. His secretary turned him in on that one, and he got busted for stealing some cocaine from the evidence locker down to Amarillo.
Oh, I think I read this, and there was some kerfuffle up in Denton recently too. I thought about you.
In Denton, Texas? That's not my stomping grounds, but I'm
Eugene.
Sorry, I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But something bad happened. I was like, Kid Nate, he did it. He did it.
I haven't been to Denton in years. All right, go ahead.
So.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Eugene, you're Holly Holm.
Sir.
You want to fight before Ronda Rousey is medically cleared to eat an apple. UFC President Dana White clowned your manager's public request to fight Miesha Tate and stay busy. How do you campaign for a fight without invoking the ire of the UFC?
Ire? You know what, Dana? He snatched a defeat from the jaws of victory, man. He could have started that relationship with them like, Holly, we love you. Everything that was Ronda's is now yours. We're your pals. And instead he busts loose with, oh yeah, sure, I'm gonna listen to him. That's nice.
And then also, she's my friend. You know, Ronda's my friend, very close, and you know.
Yeah, you know what? Holly should pull an Achilles, and they say, Holly, you're gonna fight Miesha Tate, you're gonna fight Kat Zingano, and Holly goes, yeah, like in the old detective things from the 70s. I don't think I'm quite ready to fight. And then Dana's got to pony up because now everybody is true to the North Star, and that North Star is Mr. McGee. Fuck you, fuck me, fuck you. I'm not taking any guff off of you, you bald prick. I fight when I say. I'm the champ. You got anything else? Where? Who? Why don't you get Ronda to fight? Seriously, there's a reason. He's going to go hard. He's going to routinely go hard now just to try to quell the prison riot. And, it'll work as well as it works in the prison riot when everybody looks around and realizes, hey, man, we're prisoners and we're rioting. He's got nothing. Look at Tommy Lee Jones and Natural Born Killers, and you got what's about to happen.
I was just reading about an early Australian colonialist who managed a prison and died in the middle of a prison riot. He had everybody so cowed he could walk through the general population of this teeming prison, teeming with desperate, hard, mean motherfuckers, and just had his riding crop. And then one day somebody called his bluff, and it ended badly.
Yep, like Siegfried and Roy, baby.
Exactly. Of course, the tiger, it turns out, was saving Siegfried because he knew that Siegfried was having a stroke and saved his life by biting his skull. That's actually a
drawing attention.
Yes, that's actually a line of PR that I can't remember which one got bit, but the one who didn't get bit was putting that spin out there to try to protect the tigers.
I was hanging out with Glenn Danzig's PR woman after he got knocked out by Danny Marinara, and they were actually pimping the idea that because he knew he was going to get sued, that Danny was a fortune hunter, that he took the shot to prevent himself from losing his copious millions. I was like, man, they pay you for PR, I got to get on this PR gravy train because that's some weak anybody who's thrown a punch ever in their life is just calling bullshit on that one immediately, you know?
Yeah, Danzig. And his South by Southwest or whichever Austin concert appearance recently in the past couple years where he postponed his entrance with a litany of prima donna demands, and they knew they had to turn the lights out. They have a hard deadline in downtown Austin. Show's over at 11 p.m. or 10 p.m., whatever it is. He's demanding, I want hot cocoa, I want marshmallows in my cocoa, all this stuff, and then comes out to do like a legendary show. He's got the whole Misfits. They're going to do Danzig. They're going to do Sam Hain. They're going to do the Misfits. He does like 5 minutes and then tries to instigate a riot. Like the guy is a PR disaster. Glenn.
Well, he was Jay Bennett was supposed to do an interview with him for Ozzy, and I think he looked at Ozzy and saw me and was like, nah. This is the guy who punched me in the face in 1981. Why would I help him?
You punched Danzig in the face?
Oh, you don't know this? I can't believe I'm not going to get Donna Shalala on this show.
This is an exclusive.
Tell me.
Yeah, it was it was called the Elite Club Riot. And they played with the Flesh Eaters at the Elite Club.
Oh, that's when the bass player hit the guy in the neck and paralyzed him or whatever, right?
It was the guitar player. It was Doyle, and the kid was Timmy, who was standing, if I remember correctly, about 5 feet to my left. And you could the reverber. I knew something was up. One, because I saw everybody look to my left. And I could feel it through the floor when that kid, and then he was on the ground, and there was like this nimbus of blood around his head, just like in the movies, like Joe Pesci and Goodfellas when he gets fucking shot. It just happened just like that. Now Timmy didn't get, he's not paralyzed, but he's not been the same ever since. And our first and most immediate reaction was to attack.
I see. So I knew you had been involved in that, right? I didn't realize you had punched Danzig in the midst of that.
I was swinging. I was swinging at anything that moved at that point.
I would have thought Danzig would have gallantly retreated to the back of the pack.
Well, also I was standing next to my guitar player who was 275 pounds, about 6'6". So.
I see.
That's when I was a bodybuilder as well. So I was pretty big.
Well, speaking of bodies, Nate, this is the teachable moment of the week. You're Tess Holliday, founder of, quote, F Your Beauty Standards and Plus Size Model.
Plus-size models.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your success as a body positivity icon is now threatened by outraged fans who claim to have been misled into subsidizing your, quote, expensive lifestyle, end quote. Photographers who allegedly vowed to never work with you again after making unflattering comments about your photo shoot behavior. And those who claim that alterations to your photos actually play into the traditional beauty standards and body positivity you claim to disdain. How do you salvage your reputation in the wake of these damning attacks?
Deliver the T-shirts. This is a gal who's in trouble for putting some T-shirts on sale, claiming some of the revenue was going to charity, and then not only not even giving any of the money to charity, not even delivering the T-shirts. She had to bring in another T-shirt company to do the fulfillment. That's just complete failure to execute, and devastating for your whole brand. I mean, she's done a great job of developing this brand as I'm this hot, beautiful chick who doesn't look like hot, beautiful chicks are supposed to look like. Love me. And people do. People want to hear that. People want to say, hey, you're different, but you're cool. And I'm different too, and I want to be cool. And I'm going to give you money. And people have been giving her money, but you got to, when you make an offer, you got to fulfill the offer. That's failure to do that is fraud, and that is serious, bad damage to your brand, potential criminal liability, mail fraud, not something to jack with either. The post office still has some teeth. So she needs to deliver the T-shirts, apologize, stop going to Disney World and putting it on Instagram until she's made things right with her fans.
What about you, Eugene?
Oh, Nate is nuts. All she's got to do is hold a press conference and go, hey, I'm fat. I'm fat. I'm still fat. Look how fat I am, everybody. And the American public will be like, hey, she's fat. She's still fat. Her fatness justifies my fatness. It's a wonderful, wonderful group hand job. And we're all fat and happy together. And what? T-shirts? What? I'm sorry.
What a cynic. What a cynic.
You're giving people way too much credit. I'm going to play them like a piano. I am still fat, I mean, look, she's doing a lot better than Jared from Subway.
Oh,
Right?
Lord. Well, Jared, one thing that's crazy about Jared is if you think it couldn't have gotten any worse, in the trial, one of the defenses for his pedophilia was he lost so much weight from the Subway diet that he was a big proponent of, that he went crazy and became so sex crazed from the rapid weight loss, he had to replace his addiction to food with an addiction to pederasty.
You know what? Hey, that's close, man. You know, I had a cab driver once in Tel Aviv, and the guy said to me, he's talking to me on the way to the airport, and he was like, yeah, I don't know how we got on this topic. He sensed that I would be a receptive. I guess when he found out I was a writer, he said, look, I went to the beach here in Tel Aviv. I put my, you put your towel down. I put my towel down next to this attractive woman. She started screaming at me, get out of here, you fat, you disgusting fat. I go, what did you do? He goes, oh, I was so angry, but I grabbed my stuff and I went away, and I decided that I would be fat no more. I go, yeah, what happened? He goes, I started lifting weights, started running, got in shape. Next season, a year later, he goes to the same beach in Tel Aviv. He goes up to the hottest woman on the beach and says, hey, do you mind if I put my towel down here? She says, mind? You have to put your towel down here. He puts a towel down, a gift of gab. They go back to her room. It's like a beachfront community. It's like the Copacabana. They go back to room, boom. He hits the guy. Goes, I went crazy after that. I went, and he goes, it was kind of tough because I was married. He goes, one time I'm leaving my house and my wife's on the balcony and she's waving, and I'm going to my girlfriend's house, and I felt so bad that when I got to my girlfriend's house, I said, get in the car. He's a cab driver. He made her get in the car, and they drove back to his wife's house. He took her upstairs and said to his wife, this is my girlfriend. Girlfriend, this is my wife. And then I go, what happened? He goes, well, they threw me out of the apartment, and they were very upset. They were screaming and crying. He goes, he was on his knees in the hallway listening at the door, peeking through the keyhole. And he goes, after like an hour, they said, we're going to go shopping together. We don't give a fuck what you do. And they all became friends. I go, that's a great, heartwarming story. He goes, yeah, well, she moved in. I go, whoa, wait. Your girlfriend moved in with you and the wife? He goes, yeah, the girlfriend moved in with me and the wife. I go, does she have her own room? He goes, all in the same room. I go, hold it. She sleep in the same bed? Yeah. I go, most people wouldn't ask. I'm a journalist. I have to ask, what about sex? He goes, all in the same bed. I go, what, all at the same time? All in the same bed at the same time. And I meant, that's an amazing story. He goes, his grandkids, this guy's in his 70s, his grandkids go, we're so lucky, we have so many grandmas. And I go, so he wants to end the story there, and I like, come on, man, it's me you're talking to. Because I know the girlfriend and the wife have now become a wife. And he was like, yeah, I got a girlfriend outside now, but I can't afford to have 3 of them in this. And then he starts talking to me about sex tours to Thailand. It's like, oh, the girls are so nice to me. And it's like, man, this dude is 76 years old.
Wow.
So it's the way. So you
Jared might have a point.
Well,
you buy the weight loss argument. Is that's what you're getting at?
I'm saying, the guy, you're
well, the problem is Vogel is not
shit that happened to you in high school.
Yeah, it's not that he had so much sex. It's that he had so much sex with children.
Exactly.
That's the criminal problem.
Yeah, that's
why he just took it into the weird direction. That's what it is. It's just, he was on a certain path and.
Yeah, went horribly wrong, and I feel like his sentence was exceedingly light because I seem like I'm aware of guys who get
like a Subway.
Yeah. Like, because, I mean, there's guys in jail for like 7 years for looking at pictures of kids, not much less actually raping kids. I mean, the dude got off light and
are they going to put him? Are they going to put him in a rape prison though, where he will get raped, or are they going to put him in like a club fed?
I presume they're going to put him in a club fed. They've got so many of these creeps now that they've got special wards and special wings and special facilities for most of them. So I would assume with his money.
So he's playing ping pong and golf and billiards.
I don't know. That would be speculation, but there's a possibility that that's the situation. Man. Not that I think that prison rape is the answer either. That's a horrible thing, but Anyway.
Yeah. There's an organization that I used to pick called Stop Prison Rape.
Yeah, Jim Goad was involved in that, and Donnie the Prison Punk. Yep. All right, so
it's time for Eugene's Lost Battalion slash the Phantom Toll Booth.
No, they're not the same thing, man. It's Lost Battalion, bullet point, other bullet point, Phantom Toll Booth.
See, I was just trying to lump them together in the same segment, but you think they really deserve their own segments?
They're chock full today, man. They are chock full.
So let us know who the members are this week.
The most storied member right now, hands down, let me know if there's any disagreement, Chris Weidman.
Yep. Why is that?
You could feel it when he was talking. He goes, "My fans," and I was like, "What fans?"
Well, first he said, "My family. I've got a family that loves me." That was the first thing he said, and that's
sad, man.
Yeah, I'm glad he does.
And I would get a second opinion on that one too if I were him. It's like, man, oh man. He's my fans. They'll stick, and I'll come back better than ever. And everybody is looking at him like, "No, you're not."
His father makes things
no,
worse
you're not.
by saying, "This is my boy. I still love him. He's still my boy." Like, did that kind of like drag him deeper within?
I thought that was sweet. That was nice.
No, it was. I'm just saying, but in terms of
no. That was there's a friend of Knuckle Up who got beaten up very badly. I'm not going to say his name. He got beaten up very badly by Wanderlei Silva. And his wife, like, elbowed everybody, like, out in the cage, out of the way, so she could get to him and go, "Hey, babe, are you okay?" Looking at the camera. It's like, if I'm him, I'm sitting there going, "Hey, babe, I'm over here. The camera's over there." She was wanting her close-up. So
that's why there's a second opinion needed, right? Because now he's not going to... The pop isn't going to be...
somebody's got to put the food on the table. I think the father was very much doing that kind of thing. I think he was like, "My moment. This is my moment. They're going to think I'm a great father for this. A great father who let my oldest son beat my youngest son mercilessly for their entire lives. That's the kind of father I am."
Well, here's the weird thing is, when you talk about allowing and beatings, the thing about Herb Dean, going back to that briefly, is everyone forgets the whole throwing in the towel, right? It's just... the famous Rocky moment and other kinds of situations in boxing where people throw in the damn towel. So it's like, oh, guess what? The corner doesn't exist. Everything is within the hands of the referee. Like, why don't we resuscitate this whole thing like came out with Junior Dos Santos of the corner responsibility for protecting their fighter, someone they allegedly care about?
Because guys have gotten fired over throwing in the towel. I'm going to throw in the... No, I gotta eat. Okay, all right, buddy. Man, I was behind you 100% there. Yeah.
Let me just wipe the. Oh, yeah, it's a little sweaty.
Yeah. You throw that towel in. The next thing you need to do is get your own plane ticket home.
Yeah. That's the bad. There's bad incentives there on the corner throwing in the towel. They just don't have the leverage with the fighter in most cases. So,
But what about the pop? Couldn't the pop think,
right, hold on.
That's my son?
I'm not finished with the Lost Battalion though. We got Chris Weidman leading the charge. Followed up by his sergeant-in-arms, Chad Mendez.
Well, let me ask you about that, Eugene. With Chad Mendez, you're talking about like, the 1.5 punches before the fight's called. John McCarthy didn't wait long either to call it off. I'm wondering if, like, back in the day for the NBA, they had the Jordan rules. You notice that certain players, superstar treatment. Patrick Ewing, even though you're supposed to just take 2 steps, he take 4, 5, 6, 7 steps, right? Yeah. There's certain rules. Like, are there stoppage rules for fighters too? Like, if Chad Mendez gets dinged, 2 punches, that's it. You got to call that stuff off.
Seems to be.
I'm thinking he's having such a run of bad luck that, much like Job in the Bible, that. What Job's friends busted out with when he started having shit happen to him. He's like, "Hey, you must have done something." I'm feeling the same way with Mendez. You must have done something, buddy. I don't know what it was, but you must have pissed something. I don't know what you did, but in any case, at this point, if you don't know, and again, remember, Lost Battalion has to do with lack of self-awareness. If he doesn't know, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't, that he's Phantom Toll Booth, I guess that's where your connection is. If he doesn't know that he's Phantom Toll Booth, right, he's definitely Lost Battalion. He's not even found himself to that waiting room where the toll booth is. He's out there thinking, hey, I'm going to follow that guy. Who is that? Chris Weidman? Who's he following? Junior Dos Santos? All right. No, man. No.
Any additional members?
I'd say... Well, this is the thing. I think Joe Lazan has known for a long time that he was Joe Lazan. So I think he's phantom toll booth. But the fact that he thinks that he can stay indefinitely in the phantom toll booth almost, in my mind, makes him, having successfully made the jump to Lost Battalion. I mean, who's going to pay you for that, man?
What about Jose Aldo? Is Jose Aldo Lost Battalion?
No. Jose Aldo, no way. Jose Aldo right now, I know he doesn't feel this way, but Jose Aldo right now should be lighting candles, should be high-fiving, low-fiving people. He has just been made a very rich man by the sports savior, Conor McGee, because they got a trilogy going. If I were Conor McGregor, I wouldn't even train for the second fight. I would just eat donuts and smoke weed.
I don't think Jose's getting a rematch anytime soon, man.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like
What's that?
I don't think Jose's getting the rematch. Yeah. I think the trilogy died when Jose went down on the first punch. Nobody wants to pay for that rematch. They want to pay to see Conor fight.
No, I'll suggest something more sinister. I think in terms of the jungle being against Conor McGregor, you notice that after we had the belt slam cage side and Dana White looking upset putting the belt around the waist,
and not showing up for the press conference.
Yeah, but after the fight, Dana White was like, oh yeah, he's going to fight at a higher weight class, and we're going to take the belt away from him. It's going to be Frankie Edgar and Joe. They seem to be pushing the whole idea. I wouldn't be surprised if they said, hey, here's a great idea. Why don't you fight John Jones? Why don't you prove your pound-for-pound superiority? Like, do anything to get out of that $100 million contract. I mean, just think about it. They were really quick. Instead of saying, you're going to melt this.
Contract yet. I think he's still trying to get the $100 million contract.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. The fact that Rhodes has negotiating power if he gets devastated.
Yeah, why don't you jump a whole row of buses on a motorcycle?
Right.
That'd be a great matchup. We can sell tickets to that, Evil. You know,
yeah, Snake River Canyon. It's looking jumpable.
Okay, Nate, here we go. I got a question. So when you say that's off the table, are you saying you don't expect to see this rematch ever, or you don't expect to see it in 2016?
I don't expect to see it in 2016.
No, this time next year, they will have fought a second time for sure.
Maybe. Hope you're right, but I don't see it.
Stone cold lock, that's what I'm saying.
I see.
Stamp
Why
it here.
not? Why not?
Nobody wants to see it, because most fans, so many Conor McGregor fans came to this knowing nothing of their MMA history. They don't know Jose Aldo. They don't know his record. They wouldn't have been booing him like jackasses if they did. All they know about Jose Aldo.
Those were drunk people.
Yeah, did Michael Spinks get a rematch against Mike Tyson? No. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. It's just a guy who came in, got murked.
Yeah, you're talking about an organization underneath the Don King. It's very different underneath the bald one. He doesn't have that kind of sway. And if you don't think Conor McGregor is going to demand it in 2016, you're also crazy.
Is this after Eugene? He goes up to 155 and has the immediate title shot against RDA/Cerrone winner?
You know what? This is super dangerous for the bald one. That would be the Vegas equivalent of doubling down. Okay, let's have him jump the buses on the motorcycle. Oh, shit, he just jumped 20 buses. All right, why don't you go wrestle that alligator? Oh, shit, he beat the alligator. Why don't you have him see if he can catch the bullet in his teeth? Oh, shit, he caught the bullet in his teeth. What do we got to do to stop this guy? You're running big risk, man. Every time you come to that table with him, you're running a risk. Just have him do the safe bet. I mean, maybe, look, you don't give a shit about Jose Aldo. Run him out there again for the rematch. You both make a lot of money. You burn another fight off of his contract before you put him up against the Tiger or the buses or, the bullet. And then, I mean, you just can't. You can't keep fucking her. I mean, they run the house. They should know. You just can't keep doubling down like that. That's it. That's the response I want. Stunned silence.
Yeah, I can see your point. I just think there's if the longer you're in the fight game, the more likely, the odds go against you, right? So it's like gambling. The longer you're there,
old is this kid?
You can't let them
27.
leave. What?
How old is Conor McGregor? Was he 27?
He's 27. He's 27, and that's, he's at the peak. He's at the peak of his athletic ability.
Nate, you can't see his text. I should have ended it there. Hey, I'm not talking about transgender
paper with you,
should have ended it before I got there.
He spreads the fourth wall. How is he even privy to these backstage conversations? Obviously can't be trusted. So that's our show.
I got the news song. Don't start me talking. I'll tell you everything I know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. This guy can't keep a secret. All right, so we'll be back not next week and maybe not even the week after. We're going to take a holiday break for this show. But we'll be back the week after the first week in January. We don't have any idea what we're talking about because the mistakes have yet to be made, but they will be made. I'm confident.
We didn't get to Bill Cosby. Amazing. All right.
No, but we can come back to that because this legal
It's not
gambit,
going anywhere.
suing some of the people alleging he's guilty of rape is basically just saying I'm still scary and I'm going to intimidate anybody who accuses me, but not saying I'm not a rapist because there's so many other women out there he didn't sue. So, yeah, it's disgusting. Anyway, so subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube so you don't miss any of our shows. Subscribe to MMA Nation on iTunes if you want to hear it and not see it. Follow us on Twitter at Eugene S. Robinson, at KidNate, at Alexi Ald. You can read Eugene at Aussie.com, read me at BloodyElbow.com, read Alexi at AlexiAld.com, and check out his Amazon page. Eugene, also an author, has an Amazon page. I'm an author, has an Amazon page. So check us out on Amazon. Any plugs I'm forgetting? Did I get everything?
No, you got them all. We can all writ well. We writ well.
We writ well, indeed. So
get our book.
Get our book. Adios, MMA aficionados. This is Kid Nate. We'll be back next time.